Welcome back to Unknown Facts, where we dig up the wildest truths from around the world. Today, we're counting down 10 crazy things that are actually allowed in the USA. Some of these will have you wondering, wait, we can really do that? From flamethrowers to pet tigers, this list is packed with jaw-droppers. We'll break down each one state by state and see just how far you can push the limits of the law without breaking it. Grab your popcorn because you're about to learn some facts that might just blow your mind. Let's jump right in. Let's kick things off with a bang. Literally, when you think of wild things you can legally own in the United States, a flamethrower probably isn't the first thing that comes to mind. But believe it or not, these fiery devices aren't just for action movies or military use. They're surprisingly accessible to everyday people, and the laws around them might shock you. Did you know you can legally own a flamethrower in many states? That's right. Regular folks, not just collectors or professionals, can buy and use these powerful gadgets. Whether you're a hobbyist, a landowner, or just someone who loves unique tools, flamethrowers are within reach for a surprising number of Americans. The federal government doesn't even classify them as firearms, so there's no national restriction. Unlike guns, which are heavily regulated, flamethrowers slip through the cracks of federal law. That means there's no need to go through the usual paperwork, background checks, or waiting periods that come with buying a firearm. Some states, like California and Maryland, have limits, putting restrictions on the power or outright banning civilian ownership. These states have recognized the potential risks and have decided to step in where the federal government hasn't. But outside of a handful of places, the rules are surprisingly relaxed. In most places, you can order a flamethrower online and have it shipped right to your door, just like any other household gadget. There are even companies that specialize in making flamethrowers for civilian use, complete with flashy marketing and easy online checkout. It's as simple as buying a toaster or a leaf blower, no special hoops to jump through. Companies market them for clearing brush, melting snow, and even for controlled burns on farms or large properties. Some people use them to get rid of weeds, while others see them as the ultimate winter tool for blasting away stubborn ice. The practical uses are real, and for some, a flamethrower is just another tool in the shed. Of course, there's also the undeniable cool factor. Imagine showing off your flamethrower at a backyard barbecue. Nothing says party trick quite like a controlled burst of fire. For some, it's about the spectacle, the thrill, and the bragging rights that come with owning something so outrageous. No background check, no license, and no registration required in a lot of states. The process is almost shockingly simple, especially compared to the red tape involved in buying other potentially dangerous items. It's a reminder of just how unique American laws can be when it comes to personal freedom and property. Of course, you still have to follow basic safety laws. No torching your neighbor's lawn, no lighting up public spaces, and always using common sense. Flamethrowers might be legal, but that doesn't mean they're toys. So if you're thinking about adding one to your collection, remember, with great firepower comes great responsibility. Only in America, right? Here's one that surprises a lot of people, something you might have heard debated among friends or maybe even from a well-meaning parent or driving instructor. The question is, can you legally drive a car without wearing any shoes? It's a topic that sparks confusion and even a little bit of controversy, especially when you see someone slip off their sandals before hitting the road. Believe it or not, it's totally legal to drive barefoot in most states across the US. In fact, there's no law on the books in the vast majority of places that says you have to have shoes on your feet when you're behind the wheel. For many people, this comes as a shock, since it's a common belief that driving barefoot is somehow against the rules. But the truth is, there's no federal or state law that specifically requires drivers to wear shoes. If you check with your local DMV or even ask a police officer, you'll find that the law is actually silent on the issue. This means you can technically drive barefoot without worrying about getting a ticket just for your choice of footwear, or lack thereof. So where did the myth come from? It probably has a lot to do with safety concerns. While driving barefoot isn't illegal, certain types of footwear like flip-flops, high heels, or even heavy boots can actually be more dangerous. These shoes can slip off, get caught under the pedals, or make it harder to control the car. In fact, you're more likely to get in trouble for driving with shoes that make it difficult to operate your vehicle safely than for going barefoot. Of course, if you do get into an accident and it's determined that your bare feet were the reason you lost control of the car, you could still be cited for careless or reckless driving. The key point is that it's not the lack of shoes that's illegal, it's the unsafe driving that could result from it. Insurance companies might also take note if your choice to drive barefoot contributed to a crash. But as far as the law is concerned, your toes are free to roam. There's nothing stopping you from feeling the pedals directly under your feet. And some drivers even say they feel more in control this way. Just remember, comfort and safety should always come first. If you're not used to driving barefoot, it might take some getting used to. So, next time you're heading to the beach, or just want to kick off your shoes for a more relaxed drive, go for it. Just keep your shoes handy in case you need them. Whether you're cruising down the highway or just running errands, now you know, driving barefoot isn't against the law. Who knew? Just remember, safe driving always comes first. Ever dreamed of having a pet tiger lounging on your couch, or maybe a monkey swinging from your kitchen cabinets? For some, the idea of owning an exotic animal is the ultimate status symbol or a way to connect with the wild right in their own home. The allure of these unique pets is undeniable. Imagine telling your friends you have a tiger or a monkey as a companion. In some states, this dream is surprisingly within reach. States like Nevada, North Carolina, and Alabama have some of the most relaxed laws in the country when it comes to owning exotic pets. Here, you can legally keep big cats, monkeys, and even reptiles as pets, sometimes with little more than a simple permit. These states stand out because they allow private citizens to own animals that, in many places, are strictly off limits. All it might take is filling out a form, paying a small fee, and suddenly, you're the proud owner of a creature most people only see in zoos or documentaries. In some cases, you'll need to get a permit, which can be as easy as submitting an application online or at your local government office. The requirements might include basic information about your home and how you plan to care for the animal, but often, there's little oversight beyond that. In fact, in some places, you might not even need a permit at all. The rules can be so relaxed that people end up with lions, tigers, or even crocodiles living right next door, sometimes without their neighbors even knowing. But with this freedom comes real risk. There are countless stories of exotic pets escaping, causing panic in neighborhoods, or even injuring their owners. Tigers have been spotted wandering suburban streets, and alligators have turned up in backyard pools, leading to dangerous situations for both people and animals. These incidents make headlines for a reason. They highlight just how unpredictable and powerful these animals can be, even when raised in captivity. The reality is, wild instincts don't disappear just because an animal is living in a house. That's why some states have much stricter regulations, requiring extensive background checks, home inspections, and even proof of specialized training before you can bring an exotic animal home. These laws are designed to protect both the animals and the community. But in states with looser rules, the process can be shockingly simple. Sometimes it's just a matter of paperwork and a payment with little follow-up or enforcement. This patchwork of laws means that what's legal in one state could land you in serious trouble just across the border. There's even a thriving market for exotic pets, with breeders and dealers who specialize in supplying rare animals to private owners. Some operate openly, while others work in the shadows, making it even harder to track where these animals end up. And don't forget, even if your state allows exotic pets, your city or county might have its own rules that are much stricter. Local ordinances can ban certain animals outright or require additional permits and inspections, so it's crucial to check every level of law before bringing home an unusual companion. For most people, the joys of a loyal dog or a playful cat are more than enough. These animals are easier to care for, safer to have around, and come with far fewer legal headaches. So unless you're truly prepared for the enormous responsibility and potential danger of owning an exotic pet, it might be best to admire these incredible creatures from afar and leave the wild in the wild. Here's one straight out of a history book. In some parts of the USA, dueling is technically still legal. These laws are rarely enforced, but they're still on the books in states like Kentucky and Tennessee. Back in the day, dueling was a way to defend your honor. Now it's just a quirky legal leftover. If someone actually tried it, they'd probably run into other legal issues, like assault. But technically, the dueling laws themselves are still there, gathering dust. So, next time you hear about a weird law, it might just be true. This one always gets a reaction. In several states, it's legal to marry your first cousin. About 20 states allow it, and a few more permit it under certain conditions. The rules vary. A few require you to be over a certain age, or prove you can't have children. Historically, cousin marriage was more common, especially in royal families and small communities. Today it's rare, but not as taboo as you might think. at least not everywhere. If sparks fly at a family reunion, check your state laws first. Let's talk about something uniquely American: open carry of firearms. In many states you can legally carry a gun in public, visible to everyone, sometimes without a permit. Rules vary, but in places like Texas and Arizona, open carry is part of daily life. There are usually restrictions on places like schools and government buildings, but otherwise it's legal to walk down the street with a holstered handgun or rifle. Supporters say it's about exercising rights. Critics worry about safety. If you're traveling, check local laws before you try it yourself. Here's a surprising one. In most US states, it's perfectly legal to collect rainwater for personal use. Many states even offer incentives for setting up rain barrels or cisterns. The idea is to promote water conservation, especially in drought-prone areas. A few states, like Colorado, used to have strict rules, but even those have relaxed. People use collected rainwater for gardening, washing cars, or flushing toilets. All you need is a barrel and a rainy day. This sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, but it's true. In some states, you can legally walk around with a sword in public. Whether it's a katana or broadsword, some places have no law against it at all. Laws vary by state and city. Some have restrictions on blade length or require a permit. Sword enthusiasts sometimes show off their collections at conventions or parades. If you act threatening, you'll get in trouble for something else, but simply carrying a sword is often legal. Channel your inner knight, no magic required. For the adventurous eaters, in certain states it's legal to take home and eat animals you find dead on the road. Roadkill cuisine is real and even encouraged in places like Montana, West Virginia, and Alaska. The idea is to reduce waste and make use of animals that would otherwise rot. Some states have official roadkill permits, or let you call wildlife officials to get the all clear. There are rules about freshness and legality, but for some, it's a way to put food on the table. In some places, that deer on the roadside could be dinner. For our final entry, with some restrictions, it's not outright illegal to build a small nuclear reactor at home. There are a ton of safety and regulatory hurdles, and you can't make weapons-grade material. The law doesn't specifically ban private citizens from building amateur reactors for educational purposes. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission keeps a close eye on anything involving radioactive materials, so you'd need permits and inspections. The fact that the law doesn't outright forbid it is pretty wild. In America, the spirit of invention is alive and well, even if it sometimes goes a little too far. And there you have it, 10 crazy things that are actually allowed in the USA. From flamethrowers to backyard nuclear reactors, America is a land of wild possibilities. Some of these might make you laugh, others might make you shake your head. But they all show just how unique and sometimes bizarre American freedoms can be. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching Unknown Facts. Stay curious, and remember, sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction.